in response to my question of the day, how do you fix these Mariners bats? Give me a real suggestion, because some people have just said, be better. Okay, great. Thank you. It's the worst suggestion that you can get from anybody online. Be better. Generally, I get that when my mediocre sense of humor fails to elicit laughs, which is a lot. I'm sad just thinking about that right now. Anywho, be better. It's easier said than done. And being better, I guess the process of being better requires patience. And as Jerry Demote said with us, these players essentially slowing their heart rate and not trying to force anything along the way. Some answers to that question. Send 70% of your lineup down and call up high A to triple A. All right, I suppose that means really rushing the Julio Rodriguez show, which, by the way, has been off to quite the start in Everett with the Aqua Sox. Taylor Trammell's doing pretty well in Tacoma in that PCL, though the PCL does lend itself to fantastic numbers. I suppose if you send some of these guys down, given how many injuries there are right now, that maybe you get some better production out of the guys that you bring up. But I feel like if you're just sending people down or DFAing guys, you are essentially doing exactly what you would be doing by putting Tim Laker or Scott Servais off to the side. You have, I want head-on spike syndrome. And it might net your results. It probably won't. And I'll just go back to this Ghosts of the Ostfront podcast that I listened to where Dan Carlin talks about all the Russian officers who basically, for following orders and failing, would be executed or sent to camps and then replaced by somebody else who probably wasn't qualified to be in that spot, netting the exact same results. And along the way, you essentially might lose the confidence of one of those young players. Some funny texts, 710 on the Mac and Jack's Brewing Company text line. I don't know, roids maybe? LOL. You have heard my take on this before. The steroid era was a great era. I understand that the game is tainted statistically because of it, but are you going to act like that was not a fun time to watch baseball? If you were to never find out the truth behind Mark McGwire and Sammy Sosa and that incredible summer that they had at the home run off, wouldn't you love to have more of that? I mean, that was awesome. How often do you pay attention with that kind of day-to-day attention to baseball's regular season? Not very often. Text in 710-710. Clone Shohei Ohtani like he is Jango Fett. Oh, interesting. For those who don't know, if you watch Star Wars, Jango Fett, Boba Fett's dad, is the guy that they cloned to create the entire army. I mean, he's a super soldier. Yeah, if you did that with Ohtani, though, man, I mean, you'd be to the point where if everyone is a great pitcher and hitter, you want to have some variance. I mean, honestly, sports do need some guys who are not at the top of the food chain athletically, because you can't appreciate the guys who are absolute monsters without that. You know, I wonder about the day where there will be a day where I imagine that there are robots playing sports. That day will probably not be fun, because I would imagine there will be a very minimal degree of separation between those guys, where I think with sports there definitely is difference that you see. Text in, to improve batting, just close eyes and swing as hard as you can. Oh, that's interesting. I'm actually going to the ballpark later today, and I guess there's a media batting practice challenge. I'm a little nervous. I feel the need to
You just have to do better than other media members, right? They're not expecting you to be Mitch Haniger.
I know, Maura, but I have a high expectation for myself. Not that I'm good at baseball or have ever been good at baseball, and I'm also concerned just about my right shoulder, because the last time I swung a bat, which was like 3 years ago, while I made contact with the ball, my shoulder basically felt like it came out of its socket. So, yeah, I'm a little concerned about that.
Oh, no.
I'm a little concerned about
Who are you
injuring
going
myself.
up against?
I have no idea. I really don't know. I thought it was just going to be like, oh, Paul, you get to go, in the batting practice. Now there's actual pressure on me. Well, now I have to represent, because I talk trash as if I'm like the most athletic, non-athlete sports media member in Seattle. I mean, I have a belt to maintain. I am not funny, as we found out. My
Maybe
voice.
you weren't really on a trip last weekend. You were at the batting cages, weren't you?
Shh. Why'd you do that? I mean, come on. There was so much effort put into that.